Hello there, nonfiction readers or researchers. Welcome back to another Reader's Workshop lesson via Miss Robinson's home. Before we dive into our lesson for the day, I wanted to share with you a little story. It is a true story that happened to me probably about 5 or 6 days ago. I was in my home. I was preparing for all of this fun learning we're about to do, and I got a knock on my door. And it was my neighbors. They came on over and they were asking me if I would be willing to take care of their home for a couple of days while they're off on a little trip. They wanted me to look after their chickens, make sure that their garbage can is put up and, just take care of the mail, little things like that. And I was like, oh, of course, I am happy to help. But I was very, very, very honest when I said, but I don't know much about chickens. And friends, when I tell you that my neighbors' mouths seemed to be volcanoes, I am not exaggerating. As soon as I asked, what do I need to know about chickens? Their mouths just exploded with information. And boys and girls, this is what I did when I started hearing all of the language they were using. I sat back and I was just like, I just nodded, I smiled, and I walked away from the conversation feeling a little bit down on myself and not as prepared to take care of the chickens as I could have been. So the first thing I did, as soon as I left the conversation, is I ran and I wrote down a couple of the words that my neighbors were using that I had never heard before. And I got online and I looked them up. They were using words like brooder box, clutch, CRD, and molt. Friends, when I looked up those words, it felt as though my brain was getting soaked with info. It was the coolest feeling ever. I learned so much about chickens that I had never even imagined existed out there. I learned about that when they molt, that means that their feathers are falling off. I also learned about CRD, which is a pretty deadly disease that chickens can get, how to take care of them with their brooder boxes, and what a clutch is when all of the eggs are kind of positioned together. Friends, I just felt like I became a chicken expert. Now, that whole experience really reminded me of when you are reading nonfiction books. You probably remember that strategy from way back when that was called the mumble. We talked all about don't do the mumble. I hear a lot of you friends doing that, especially when you're reading nonfiction books and you come up to a word that you may have never seen before or never heard of. You just kind of mumble right through it. You don't really choose to understand what it means and say it the way it's supposed to be read. So let's go ahead and get into our lesson where I can help you with that. I'm going to go ahead and read our teaching point, so turn your brains on. Today, I crave to inform you that the bold words are imperative to know and comprehend. Did that make sense? Kiddos, I used many words in our teaching point that you probably had no idea. Let's go ahead and break it down. I even wrote these down too, friends, because there's a lot. Today, I crave, want, to inform, teach you that bold words are imperative, important, to know and comprehend, understand. I'm going to go ahead and reread our teaching point, this time with words that we all can comprehend. Here we go. Today, I want to teach you that bold words are important to know and understand in your nonfiction books. That probably felt a little bit better, huh, kiddos? So, friends, the text feature that we're really zooming in on today are the bold words. So here is our strategy. Bold words signal importance. Now, you might be thinking, what in the heck is a bold word? I'm here to tell you. Bold words are those words in your text that are often extremely important to the meaning of the page. They are often words you have not heard before, and they usually look a little bit different from the other ones. So a bold word that you might see in a nonfiction book is habitat. Habitat is a word that is usually really imperative or really important to the text. So I wrote down habitat. Now, friends, if you want to go ahead and pause right here so you can really see the different ways bold words can be written, go ahead and do that now. Here is habitat. Now, this first way is the most common way that we see bold words. They're usually a bit fatter, usually a bit thicker, and they're written a bit darker. Another way that you might see a bold word is if it is underlined. Okay, underlined. Another way that bold words sometimes pop up in our books are when they are italicized, kind of moved over to the side like that, kind of slanted. And the last way you may see a bold word is when it is in a different color. So here you can see it a little bit better. There's habitat written in the 4 main different ways that you will find bold words in your text. Now, kiddos, I also want to mention to you that bold words also are often called keywords. So if you hear me call them bold words or keywords, they are the same exact thing. If Mrs. Van Pelt has used the word keyword instead of bold word, or Mrs. Mendoza has used the word keyword instead of bold word, they are the same, completely the same. So, bold words signal importance. Friends, when you see a bold word right here, when you see a bold word, you need to ask yourself, do you know what it means? If the answer is yes, keep reading. If the answer is no, you need to go to the glossary. The glossary is oftentimes found in the very back of your nonfiction book, and in that place is where you can find the meanings of your words. So let's go ahead and add that strategy to our anchor chart called Nonfiction Readers Zoom In on Text Features. Alrighty, bold words signal importance. When we come across a bold word, we need to ask ourselves, do we know what that word means? If the answer is yes, keep on reading. If the answer is no or a little unsure, hop to the glossary, which is oftentimes found in the backs of your books, so you can really understand what that word means. Not all nonfiction books have glossaries though, boys and girls. I'm so sorry about that. But our book does for today. So we are going to go ahead and read a little bit more of koalas. So friends, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of do a sneak peek of this book. And what I want you to do is when you see a bold or key word, I want you to, again, give me a stop sign. All right, I want you to give me a stop sign when you see a bold word on our page. And remember, they might look differently. They could be bold, like the very top word, so nice and thick and dark. They could be underlined, they could be italicized, or maybe even in a brand new color. So let's try this out. Give me a stop sign when you see a bold word. Koalas. Okay. Oop, I should have seen a stop sign. Here we have a bold word, 2 of them. A koala. Let's keep going. Two of them. Here we have mammals and marsupials. Now, friends, I did not stop with koalas back on that first page because I asked myself, do I already know this word? Yes, and so I just kept going. But here we have mammals and marsupials. Let's go ahead and read that sentence and ask ourselves, do we know what those words mean? Koalas are mammals called marsupials. Let's go ahead and hop to the glossary because I'm not sure if everyone knows what mammals and marsupials are. So here we go. It's usually in the very back. Yes, here we go. So here we have mammal and marsupial. And again, you can pause this if you want to really zoom on in and get a closer look. So it says a mammal is an animal that feeds its babies milk. It has a backbone and is warm-blooded. And I knew what that word meant, and maybe a couple of you did, but I bet lots of us don't know what a marsupial is. Marsupial is a mammal that carries its babies in a pouch. Very cool. I bet, friends, those 2 words are very important to our knowledge all on koalas. So let's keep going. yourself, I already know what habitat means? Yes or no? I already know what it means, boys and girls. So after I've read this page, I'm just going to keep on moving. Here's another one. Ooh, this time it's in a new color. Okay, here we go. A koala lives in a small area in its habitat. The area has about 100 trees. This is its territory. Do I know what territory means? I thought I did, but now I'm not really understanding the difference between habitat and territory. So let's go ahead and hop to the back of the book to our glossary to see what territory means. And you know what, friends, let's also read habitat since we're here. Habitat is an animal's natural home, and territory is an area where an animal or group of animal eats, travels, and lives. Oh, okay, so now I understand. A habitat is just where they live, but the territory is kind of where they belong, where they do all of their living, where they eat, where they travel, and also where they live. So their habitat is just like kind of your house, but then the territory is kind of like your whole city. All right, so that's pretty neat. Let's see if there are any more bold or key words in our nonfiction book. Okay, no more. Alrighty, friends. So when you come to a bold word or a keyword, call them whatever you'd like, I need you to stop, because when you see these words, that's kind of like the author pulling on your shoulder saying, hey, I'm important. I'm a really important word. Don't skip past me. So when you see them, you need to stop and ask yourself, do I know what it means? Do I know what this word means? And if the answer is yes, you just keep on reading, keep on going. But if your answer is maybe or I don't know, hop to the back of your book into your glossary so that you can really dive into your understanding a bit more. Alrighty, friends, I want you to pick up a nonfiction book of your own and try this strategy out. Remember, bold words signal importance. They are so important. Do not Skippy frog these words. Do not. Make sure that you are trying everything you can to understand what it means. Alrighty? Thank you so much for learning with me. Be on the lookout for those keywords. I will see you in our next Reader's Workshop lesson. Bye, my friends.